Okay. We're back, playboys and playgirls, bad bitches and bad witches. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? It's Pork Butt episode 3. Do y'all feel witchy yet?
You better, because it's the 3rd episode. Things are heating up. We're starting to get some celebrity attention.
Wow, that's exciting.
Gotta give, first off, some big shout-outs to Lindsay Lohan and Ben Higgins.
Lindsay Lohan and Ben Higgins both shouted us out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess they were big listeners of Pork Butt. And they were excited for the 3rd episode.
Yeah, they did it on this new app that I haven't heard of. It's called Cameo. And I guess celebrities...
It's where celebrities hook up with podcasters with 9 subscribers.
Yeah. It's sort of a connection site for those on each end of the entertainment spectrum.
Because as we know, quarantine has forced a lot of us to listen to a lot of content. You know? We're getting more content now than ever, and Lindsay Lohan and Ben Higgins just happen to say hi, and that's great.
Yeah, that is our new plan, though, to get celebrities on Cameo to start talking about the podcast.
We are shelling out too much money for this joke.
Which will happen.
It will happen.
You will see Lindsay Lohan and Ben Higgins talking.
Maybe we should separate them out. Or we could do, one video. And it's like, hey, guys, here's a couple people that just love our podcast.
here's a crazy compilation. I just love it so much because we're going to say that it happened by accident, but very clearly still have the Cameo watermark.
You know what I'd do if I won the lottery?
I'd
get a cameo of all those actors that sung that stupid Imagine song.
Yeah.
And just have them redo it.
Have them make them, not even a different one, just have them do it again.
Yeah. Just so everyone hated them more. No.
Maybe I'd try and spin it and do a good way. I'd have them do that.
But we were excited because Lindsay Lohan... I actually saw Ben Higgins once at the Comedy Store. I sat him.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was he there for?
I don't know who he's there for. I think he was just there for a show.
Is he by himself?
He was by himself. And you could tell,
not a lot of people go by themselves, right?
Not really. Yeah. It's an odd thing to... I mean, not odd, but it's unusual.
Yeah. It's not odd if you're a comedian, but it's very funny from Ben Higgins to just presumably be at home alone.
Ben Higgins, if you don't know, he was one of the Bachelors a couple seasons ago. And we were looking through Cameo and we're like... You're in our price range.
Yeah.
and we love Ben. Maybe I can say that I saw him at the Comedy Store in the little notes.
And he'll be like, we have got to meet up.
We have got to meet up.
How much was he? Was he 100?
I think he was 70.
70. Lindsay Lohan only $200.
Or no, Ben Higgins is 100 and Lindsay's 200. But yeah, I was surprised because we were looking at what's the most bang for our buck?
Yeah.
And I feel like Lindsay Lohan...
Lindsay by far.
While she's not the most relevant now, she's universally known.
Yeah.
Mean Girls and Parent Traps were some of the biggest movies ever.
This was crazy. It's Caitlyn Jenner's charging $2,500.
Yeah, that's a little much, Caitlyn.
It's you weren't in Mean Girls.
Yeah.
You weren't in Parent Trap.
Yeah.
You haven't played
all you did
two
was
parts.
Run around the track and be yourself. Become yourself. Which was a beautiful thing.
It was I guess she's more maybe in vogue now than Lindsay Lohan. Mm. But, I mean, if you're still keeping up with Lindsay
Everyone knows who Lindsay Lohan is.
She sort of can't not be known now.
Yeah.
But that's what's weird is she's she's still Lindsay Lohan, but she's not she's not the Lindsay we knew. Now she's just a grown-up woman who lives in Greece. But she's still Lindsay Lohan.
Is Cameo a sign that you're declining in fame?
I think a little bit. A little bit. And I think the people... And maybe Lindsay accepts that. And maybe that's why Lindsay's not charging a lot, where she's just I know who I am. But she could charge more. But I feel like Caitlyn Jenner trying to charge $2,500 for a 30-second video is sort of her trying to tell herself that she is better than Cameo.
Yeah.
And it's no, you're on Cameo.
Yes, you're on Cameo. You're not better than it.
I mean, she must be one of the most expensive, right? Like, who? That was the most expensive you saw, right? $2,500?
Yeah, but I think there's ones that are more expensive.
Who's buying that, though?
I mean, rich people.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have enough money to buy that, you could probably get in contact.
Yeah, I wonder what...
Because if you could spend that much money on, like, a 30-second video, you probably have, like, over $5 million. Or you just spend crazy amounts on, like, maybe someone that you like, maybe like a couple like put together their stimulus checks to like get a video. Oh my
god, I didn't even think about our stimulus checks. We could have this being a recurring thing where each episode we have a different celebrity.
We go so far into bankruptcy. We just lose so much money before anyone listens.
God.
That would be the most American thing, to spend your stimulus check on celebrities talking to you for like 10 seconds. You're like,
oh my god! Worth it!
You're like, I could have bought my kids food, but oh my god, Ben Higgins! Ben Higgins, Dog the Bounty Hunter!
Oh my god. Yeah, there's Dog the Bounty Hunter on there. There's a lot of good ones.
I wonder...
And then I saw some people... I saw some comedians we know that are, like, a little above us, but not that much using it.
Really?
Yeah, like, you know Chad talks, or Chad does everything, or whatever? They're like, he's like a character, him and that other guy.
Yeah.
Chad Goes Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's charging $20.
That makes sense. Because they have a following from the news and everything.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that makes sense. Because I thought you were just talking about guys doing comedy. But no, that's John Parr. But yeah, no, they're hilarious. And they're on the news. They have like a fun cult following.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense. It's like, oh, these are the funny guys from the news and the town hall meetings. And that's only $20. I thought you were just talking about just guys we know that just like book more consistently than us. just like around the city, LA comics with like no viral clout.
How much would you charge for your cameo?
I might pay people. I would do like $5. Even that seems kind of rude. Because I'm just a guy. Like, it's kind of just asking like, how much would you pay for just a guy? And the most is $5.
Well, what if, you know, Caitlyn Jenner's $2,500?
Yeah.
I do $2,499, $2,499. So that way, for one more dollar, you could get Caitlyn Jenner, and for one less dollar, you could get somebody that nobody knows, like Dylan Sullivan.
I feel like that deal works more in her favor, though. Because, like, for $1 less, I can go leagues of fame down. Or for $1 more, I could jump up. You should do a $3,000 one and just wait till someone hopefully makes a mistake. And then you get, like, one quick... like
Dylan Sullivan from Lights Out with David Spade.
What if somebody is just out there and they're just a huge fan of you? And they're just looking through Cameo every day, like, when is he gonna get on?
I don't know. I hope... Maybe it'll be weird. One day we might have fans, Cooper.
Yeah. I think that would be nice. But also...
How would you treat your fans if you were eating dinner and they come up to you and they're like, oh my god, Cooper Lyden, I'm such a huge fan of your comedy and your cock. How would you go about that? I feel like it would depend on where I would be at in my career. I feel like pretty standard, though, it would be like, thank you, like cordially, but I have a really good way of letting people know that I don't want to talk because I don't have a warm face. So you don't. You have a very angry face. Exactly. And it's not on purpose. Yeah, that's I think fair. It's your bushy eyebrows. I was actually, when we were driving today, I was looking at my face in the mirror, and my face naturally frowns. Like it, you see how it just naturally frowns. So I feel like if I had fans, resting bitch face. Yeah. And I feel like if I had fans, my fans would know that I am probably not that warm of a person.
So, I'd be like, hey, and I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. And then if they tried to stay there, but the problem is I'm not very confrontational. I would have to be very annoyed to be like, get away from me, But I feel like because of how uninviting I am, I wouldn't even have to do that.
Wow.
Like Tom Segura talks about how he hates when fans come up to him, and he talks about how when fans come up to him now, they like apologize. They're like, I'm really sorry. I know you hate this, but to me, that's like kind of a pretty good setup because then you can only go up from there. Because if they're like, oh my God, I know you hate this. And you can be like, no, it's fine. Do you want a picture? And then they're like, well, he was way nicer than I expected.
And then apparently Bert Kreischer is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like wants to hang out with them and stuff.
Yeah, I think he likes his fans to a greater extent. I like the story about how Dice Clay would get his fans' numbers.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay, the comedian.
Yeah, and he would incessantly call them to the point that they would ask him to stop calling. Like, he would call, like, the same guy, like, 15 times a day, and he'd be like, Andrew, I'm at work. I can't talk. And he'd be like, well, I'm just sitting around. Because, like, like, he's got, like, an open day. So that's what's great. It's like, if you have that sort of, like, wealth and security, you're just like, what could I just devote my day to?
That would be a great thing. Like, if it ever got to a point where we had fans and stuff, I think I would just, like, try to befriend them until they were annoyed with me. And then, like this past week, I've been staying up late during quarantine. Like, we both have, but I've been staying up till maybe 8 a.m., 9 in the morning.
Yeah. It's been real bad.
One time I was like, just up at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning, and I called this guy, Pete Savall, who was an open micer with us.
Yeah.
And I just kept calling.
Yeah, didn't you say you blocked your number?
Over and over and over again. And he blocked my number, and then he unblocked and he texted me to stop calling him. And so then I blocked him on everything. And so now... because I love fucking with Pete Savall. Him and I did a podcast together, and he's just the type of person that, for whatever reason, there's people in life that you just want to bully.
I think because
Pete Savall is one of them.
I think because he has a pretty kind heart for the most part. He's just like a nice guy. And those are sort of the funniest people to be like, fuck you, man. Like, to just really go at. I mean, as long as they know it's kind of sad if you're truly making someone feel bad.
I wanted to find his address. If anyone's listening and knows Pete Savall and knows his home address, I want to send him a cake with a picture of my face on it.
See, that's the kind of stuff I would want to do if I was, like, rich and famous.
Yeah.
Because you have so much time and money.
You could just pull elaborate pranks.
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher had it made. He got paid to pull pranks on people. That's a great job.
Yeah. And now he went the other way of being rich and having so much time, which is that he started an organization that stopped sex trafficking, which is a much better use of time than anything we've mentioned.
Except Punk'd.
Let's be very clear that Punk'd has definitely done more for the world now. But yeah, I don't know. I think I would be nice to fans, but I don't think I like comedy fans because
I think I've never so douchey. We're even talking about.
Oh, it is, of course.
But, and look, nobody's listening.
Yeah,
we've established that from the first episode.
I think that's why it's not douchey. I mean, anyone listening knows that we are destined for failure, and that's why we can talk like this. That's a joke. We're going to be huge, Dylan. Don't look at me like that.
Wow.
But no, from the small inklings, we have someone that follows both of us that conceivably might be listening to this podcast. Chances are the people listening to this are the random people
who hate us
with no profile, because there are these people
or people who like us.
And most all comedians who open mic, you'll run into someone like this where they're comedy fans, but they're fans of people who are not famous. So there's like this guy or woman, we don't know, with their Instagram profile. They only follow 20 people. 2 of them are us, and they have no profile picture, and their name is not on it. But they will just respond to our stories and try and be funny with us,
Well, I think that person might listen to this podcast, and I want to give some subtext to what's happening. So, about 4 weeks ago, toward the beginning of the quarantine, or a couple weeks into quarantine, I got an influx of like 60 or 70 followers. And I would click on their images, and most of them seemed gay.
Right.
I've gotten to a point in my life where I can click on someone's Instagram, and depending on who they follow, or what their bio is, or what kind of pictures they have up, I can determine if they're gay. So I see all these gay guys who follow me instantly, and I was like, oh, that's strange. I wonder where they're all coming from.
Yeah.
Well, guess where they came from, Cooper?
Where?
They came from an app called Grommer. There was a guy who posted about me in this app.
Okay.
And Grommer is a community of fat gay guys and aspiring fat gay guys.
Like guys that are gaining weight?
Guys that are gaining weight or are already fat. Or guys that want to be fat who are gay. And they posted my stand-up on that app.
Really?
Yeah. It's a league. It's called a fat gay men. And apparently, like...
Is that how we should be... I'm sorry, keep going.
Go ahead.
Is that how we should be promoting the podcast on apps like Grommer? Like, should we stay away from mainstream Twitter and really try and...
I think we got to break into these niche markets.
Right? Because that's a good way to build it up. Because all those people are also on the main ones. So if we start putting stuff on, like, Grommer and, like, Reddit twink forums and stuff...
You and I should put together... Yeah, we can get you on, like, a twink page.
Yeah.
And then... That's how we can build it up.
We need to get, like, the kinds of... Like, we need to get, like, reply guy type followers that, like, don't follow us for talent, but they follow it. Like, they send us messages and they're like, hey, stud.
Yeah.
Like, really good content. And, like, it doesn't...
That's a majority of my followers.
I think that's a majority of, like, a lot of currently successful people's followers.
It's people who want to fuck them.
Yeah.
And I welcome it.
A follow is a follow.
Yeah. And I feel
like... The numbers all look the same.
And lucky me, there's a community out there who likes fat gay guys. And apparently, I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn.
Yeah.
Like, for a fat guy, I'm pretty handsome. I'm handsome.
You're like a
guy.
top shelf fat gay dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to them, that's why I always get pissed off when people are like, oh, I could never, like, find anybody. You gotta find your market. You gotta find your Grommer.
You just don't know your sale.
Yeah.
I think, we should get me on forums for, like, because I'm more, like, straight presenting. Like, we should get me on forums of, like twink straight men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or, like, we should make fake titles for the podcast. Like Bear turns twink straight boy. And then you click on it, and it's just like it's just pork butt. It's just the audio to this podcast.
Talking about open mic comedy in Los Angeles.
And then maybe 10 minutes in, you're like, this isn't what I thought it was, but they have some funny perspectives. But yeah, what started this is I was talking about. Yeah, there's certain people that will follow you if you are a comedian, whether you're famous or not, and they will try and joke around with you. And it's never funny. And I feel like as a comedian, you just get so much of that. And that's most of your fans. And it's probably kind of annoying. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of people that I've gotten over the last couple of years that, and we're just listening to like a podcast similar to this, but they'll be like mean and like thinking it's a joke. Because there's a very fine line, because, like, someone put it, I forgot who, but they put it a really good way of, like, a funny joke can be mean, but a just mean joke isn't funny.
Yeah, it can't, I don't like...
Something can be, like, funny and therefore be mean, but if something is just mean and doesn't come off funny.
I think a mean joke can be funny if you are very comfortable with the person you're saying it to or it's being said with.
Right.
Like if your friend like gets this is like a bad example. Like if your friend gets like a new pair of clothes and you just say something like generally mean about it, they'll probably be like, oh, he's joking. Because my friends don't treat me like that. But it is weird when a stranger's like, look at this stupid cunt. And then you're just like,
right?
Yeah. I haven't really had that. I've been on like, I've had small things. Like I was on a person was like Instagram Live who has like 10,000 comedy fans, and everyone immediately was so mean. I got on and I was like, what's up? And then one guy was like, Cooper is the epitome of a try-hard. And I was like, it's been 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. What happened with that? Oh, yeah, you were invited on an Instagram Live by...
I'll be clear about it. I was very much wanting to get on it because I was in this cabin.
William Montgomery, right?
Yeah, it was my friend William Montgomery. He's the regular on Kill Tony. So he has like 10,000, 50,000 followers. And they're like sort of like culty fans of him because it's sort of like a cult podcast. And he's like a very, alternative, fun comedian. So his fans are very into him. And I saw that he was live. So I kept entering the live and then requesting to be on it and then exiting and then requesting again. Like very desperate. Which I don't know if that's public that you are continually requesting, but I was like, oh, I want to get on this. And then he got me on it. And then I was like, we were cooking a pork butt and I like showed him the pork butt and I was like, how are you? And then like, that was like 15 seconds. And then someone immediately was like, Cooper is the epitome of a try-hard. And I ruminated over it.
You were very mad for the whole night.
I was pissed off. That's why I think if I were to get, which I know I won't, luckily, but if I were to get any sort of success now, it would ruin me.
How do you say that?
Well, because, like, you see how neurotic I am right now with, like, the amount of attention a normal person gets. Like, imagine if it was, like, 1 million people that knew who I was. I think all I would do is just sit around and be like, is it 70-30 of people who hate me and like me that know me? Like, I would just be sitting around thinking about that. Because you're just inviting so much hate. And I will think people hate me that I've never even spoken to. So, like, having people know me would just be like 1 million more people of that. I'd also probably be a pretty big douche. Like, I'm very insecure now, but if, like, my inner ego was validated in that way of fame, I think it would completely flip.
Well, that's good to know. So, do you think you want to be famous?
Not right now. I don't think that would be good. Would you want to be famous right now?
Depends if I could be on Cameo or not.
You could be on Cameo, of course. You could be like a D-list and be on Cameo.
It's my dream.
But I'm definitely not ready as a comedian or a person to be famous. Because, like, if I got fame right now, then they would want me to make a special in the next 2 years, and it would be dog shit. I would never say no to anything, of course. It's not like if CAA was like, we want to sign you, I'd be like, I'm not ready.
Right.
But, like, if I were to get that opportunity, I think I would crumble.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I've heard a lot of comedians say that, like Bill Burr and Mark Maron, sort of anxious, somewhat neurotic, little angry guys, They're like, yeah, I was not, that would have ruined me if I was younger. Like, I think if I ever am in a public eye, I should get to a place where I'm, more cheerful and calm than I am right now.
I think I'd want to be famous right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would let the neuroticism, I'd lean into it.
I think you'd be good at it. I think you have a good, like, 90s Hollywood mindset of, like I think you would buy, like a pink, like, Corvette.
DUIs.
You would have DUI. You'd be like wearing
Strung
skirts.
out on coke.
You'd be like getting out of limos and like showing your full dick out of a skirt, like real Paris Hilton type shit. I would be like, if I got famous now, it would be like, well, they all did that.
They have the little pussy.
It's like Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton did it like literally like 5 times.
It had to be intentional.
I think for Paris, she did it like 5 times, which is honestly, if it's intentional, so funny. It's literally the fun, because it's such an obvious, like, you would know what you're doing when you're moving your leg like that. So
and they often know that when there's going to be press somewhere.
They're pretty aware of that. We're also mostly calling them.
Yeah.
I think, though, if I got famous right now, I would be like Ben Affleck famous, or there would be like a bunch of TMZ videos of me being like, get the fuck out of here! Like, I would probably, I mean, I don't think I have a lot of outbursts, but I think I have enough that if I was...
But that only gets you more famous. So by the act of you not wanting fame would just make you more famous. You're maybe the perfect candidate.
I would like to be like I really want to be like a Shia LaBeouf or Robert Pattinson type famous, where like there's just like so many weird paparazzi photos of me, just like dressing really weird or like eating ramen alone, looking really disheveled and sad, and just like all these like there would be threads of like here's a thread of Cooper Lydon looking unstable in the street. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it would just be pictures of me. Just look, because like if I don't think anyone is looking at me, then my face is resting, and I have an angry resting face. So I think any paparazzi picture of me would just look like I'm like walking away from like a fight with my wife.
That's what they want. That's
exactly.
What people want.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think
what kind of if say there was a magic wand and I got famous. Like, extremely famous, how do you think I would actually be? I want to hear your perception of what I would actually be like, good and bad. Let's say I'm like Miley Cyrus level famous.
Right now, who you are right now?
Yeah.
It would fuck you up really bad for at least a year. Like, you would be in like a seriously awful place.
Why do you say that?
Because, just like... the way you've talked about the feedback you get on social media and for things that like are on YouTube and stuff, like you're very worried about...
I'm worried about viewership.
You're worried about viewership.
But then I would have the viewership, so what would I be like?
Then there's just the next thing to worry about of like, you would be wondering, what's my next move? Will this last? Do people really like me? Am I a joke of a celebrity? You know? Because, like, some people are really famous, but they're, like, a bit of a joke, you know? And I feel
like... I love that.
I don't think you would, though. I think you would really be worried about it. I think you would find your place. I don't think you would, like... I think it'd be
Do you think I'd turn into an asshole?
Really trying to think about this. No. I think you would be an asshole in fun ways.
Like what?
Like, I don't think you would be, like, mean to people, but I think, like, there would be a lot of fun private conversations about, like, people you're meeting since you're famous, and you're like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Like, you would, like, that would be... But I couldn't see you, like, spitting on a child or anything. But I think it'd be really funny if you had, like, a... like a Britney Spears type fame. Like, you're a comedian, but then, like, all of a sudden you're, like, doing pills and, like, shaving your head. That might be the next step for comedians. Because, like, Pete Davidson kind of did that. Not in going crazy, but just of being in, like, the mainstream limelight, you know?
Yeah.
Of, like, coming out of BOA.
All we need to do is date a famous pop star. Maybe I can date Sam Smith.
Cool work. I don't know who I could date.
Or Harry Styles. I'll date Harry Styles.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, Harry broke my heart.
Yeah. And, like, you'd become, like, you know what
the breakup's inevitable for famous people.
You know what I think you would, like, almost plan if you were famous is, like, you would always be coming out of restaurants wearing sunglasses with your head down, and people would be, like, asking you questions, like, what's going on with Harry? And you'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. Like,
I don't want to talk about Harry. Also, he knows what he did in that apartment.
You would also just
vague statements.
Yeah, you're also just talking in an accent that you don't have, and, like... yeah. Who are like the three famous people that you would want to hang out with if you were famous?
I don't want to hang out with... Can you answer first?
Yeah.
I have to think about it. And listeners, who are the three famous people you would hang out with? If you were stuck in quarantine with three other famous people and you're all friends, who would it be? Let us know in the comments.
Send it in to any email or comments you'd like to.
Or just send us a pigeon.
Just send us a pigeon. Send a letter to your grandma and just start up a conversation. Call your grandma. The few famous people I would want to hang out with Shia LaBeouf.
I have
based on what I've seen in his interviews, Robert Pattinson and maybe Kanye West. And I'm not really, and not that I don't like him, I just haven't gotten really into Kanye West music. So I'm not like a Kanye West music fan, but you know, he's bipolar 1, I'm bipolar 2. I want to meet up and match energy. I want to be around people that are like kind of crazy. Like, I think it'd be cool to hang out with Shia LaBeouf. Because he's not crazy. Like, like I've seen him in interviews. He's like a cool dude. But I think it'd be fun to hang out with him. Because he'd just be like, we're going to go to the Museum of Modern Art and yell at the curator for being a fascist. And I'm like, fuck yeah, we are. You know what I mean? Like, I also like how they dress. I feel like they could get me into cool stuff. I'd hang out with Jared Leto. He wears like fonts.
Well, you gotta pick 3.
Well, it would probably be like Kanye, Robert Pattinson, and Shia LaBeouf, but Jared Leto would also be in there. I don't even know if I would like vibe with any of those people though. I just like how they live. Like Jared Leto wears a lot of high fashion brands that I like, and I'm like, well, maybe we could go shopping together.
That'd be good.
Oh my god, I'm getting some chrome hearts with Jared Leto. Such a cool ring, Jared. Oh, you already own that?
Oh, you're Pan? I'm Pan.
And then there's also that new thing of like you're hanging out with people that are more successful than you, and that's like a weird type of insecurity, you know?
Sure.
Where like obviously you'd be like, well, we're friends, like I'm a part of it, but also like he's like A-list, I'm B-list, you know? I just want to be the kind like that's why I think like Pete Davidson and Dave Chappelle have cool comedian fame, because they hang out with like Common and like other people that are not comedians, you know?
Right.
Like, I want to hang out with, like, all the comedians I love. That'd be awesome. But it would also be cool to be friends with random people. Like, I'd be friends with Justin Bieber. That'd be fucking awesome. Like, once again, don't really think we would have a lot in common. But it would be great. It would be great to just be, like, in People magazine of, like, like Justin Bieber and Cooper Lyden go to Panera Bread. And then it's just, like, he's just so rich and, like, hot. And then I'm just there. That would be great.
Oh my god.
Who are your people though?
Susan Sarandon.
Mm-hmm.
1. Because the other 2 I'm gonna have are like super crazy, and I feel like Susan Sarandon is one of those celebrities that are like probably down to earth.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I just want to be on like a balcony.
Yeah,
like Susan Sarandon and I like share a bottle of wine.
Yep.
And we both have like cardigans on Malibu Beach.
Yeah.
Because it's like a little chilly, but like also warm.
What's like the thing that you think you and Sarandon would both be into?
I feel like we'd both really be into like cheeses.
Like cheeses and maybe like
cinema.
Like slim jackets.
Arts. I would love to go to like the Met. With Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, I would
talk
be
about art.
Shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
God, that'd be so cool.
Creatively, I count them as 1, but I'd want to hang out with Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
They seem fun.
Creators of South Park.
Makes sense.
Because I feel like I could pick their brain on like a lot of fun stuff, and I feel like they'd have fun conversations.
I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking more of like
actors and stuff.
Who's going to be wild?
Yeah.
But that's
and then the wild one, I'd also choose either Kanye West.
Yeah.
Or maybe Beyonce.
It'd be pretty cool to hang out with Beyonce. I don't know if I could. I don't know what I would talk about with Beyonce.
Yeah. 'Cause she's heard it all, and she just like knows more and is cooler than you.
She's just such like the epitome of an A-type. Can you imagine like?
Oh, that's true.
Can you imagine complaining to Beyonce? Be like, I had a really tough day, and she'd just be like, well, why didn't you slay it? And he'd be like, I didn't think of
That's
that.
That's a good point.
Like, that stuff is not, like, abstract to her. That's, like, a very definitive action that she does. Like,
oh, maybe Tom Hardy. But just so I could, like, Google at Tom Hardy.
I would really... It could never happen. I don't think it would work out. I would really love to hang out with Paul Giamatti.
Ooh.
Like, we would be, like, famous friends. Be like, there's Paul Giamatti. And I'm, like, my age and he's his age. And it's, like, a really weird difference. But we're friends. We go to Gladstone's off PCH. We go to the Self-Realization Center. We meditate. Like, we hang out.
That'd be cool.
And I'm always saying shit like, Paul is, like, really into wellness. You know, I'm saying stuff like that, you know? And I'm like, people think he's, like, this high-strung guy. And Paul's, like, one of the most down-to-earth people I know. Also, like, Steve Buscemi. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I feel like he's really agreeable. You're like, where do you want to eat? And he's like, like it's just,
Where do you want to eat?
or he's like an asshole. I hope not.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Who's one celebrity you would do acid with?
I don't know. I almost want to say Shia LaBeouf, but I feel like he's going to want to like paint his body and maybe get a little too crazy. I might. Oh, God. That's kind of a tough one. I would want to do acid with Brad Pitt.
Yeah?
Because I think Brad Pitt is a good hang. And I think he would be fine on acid because I'm sure he's done a lot. And I also think that seeing Brad Pitt would help my trip be better. Like, what I found is bad trips are somewhat easy to avoid because you're so, like, at the will of yourself that you can talk yourself out of it pretty easily. But it would be even more easy to just, like, if I'm feeling bad, I'll just look over and be like, oh, Brad's here. I feel so much better. And, like, we'd probably both be wearing, like, white linen tunics, in, like, a villa. I feel like if that rich and famous people do acid, you, like, go to a certain country.
Wow.
You're like, I do acid in Greece.
I only do acid in Greece. Ibiza.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great to just be off, like, 4 tabs with Brad Pitt and Ibiza?
And speaking of Brad Pitt, you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet.
I haven't. I don't.
It's interesting that you say you'd want to do acid with him.
Well, because you don't have to see a Brad Pitt movie to like Brad Pitt.
Sure.
I think there are tons of people who have never... I can't even remember the last movie I've seen with Brad Pitt. But
a lot of our listeners are going to know what I'm talking about. And why haven't you seen a movie that's been this popular?
Because... I want to say something really quick. One time I did see Brad Pitt on the freeway, and it's because I saw an Escalade with a license plate that said B. Pitt. And I was like, I bet that's Brad Pitt. And I was driving with my friend Chris. I was like, let's get up next to him. We got up right next to him, and right as we get next to him, he has already turned to us and gave like a salute, like a what's up, boys? And then I immediately told my friend Chris, I was like, we got to get out of here. I was like, we got it. Do not bother Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you got the salute.
Yeah,
he saluted you?
It was like the off the side of the head real quick, like real Brad Pitt like.
Yeah.
Like if you told me like, what do you think Brad Pitt, how would he say hi? It was like, boop, like, what's up? Very, like you could almost hear him say it, like, what's up? And it was kind of surprising though, because I was like, he's so famous and he doesn't seem that vain. I mean, I guess if you're that famous, you're kind of impossible not to be. But I was like, it's weird that he is advertising that is him. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I was like, why is his license plate B. Pitt?
That would be kind of like a cool thing to like give to people though. You're this international superstar and then you just get a car that has your name on it.
Yeah.
And then people pass you and you just give them a little salute.
That's kind of
Brad Pitt salute.
I think honestly that might have been what it was. And I think that's why it'd be fun to do acid with Brad Pitt, because you could just be like, what are the things that you do? Like, what is your day? And he would just be like, I fucking bought an Escalade and I put my name on the license plate. And I'm just like, just thinking about the universality of consciousness and how Brad Pitt is one of the most important of those.
Wow.
And having a fun time. What were we talking about though?
We were talking, I don't know.
Oh, I was talking about not seeing movies. I don't see a lot of movies because they're expensive.
That can't be the reason.
They're expensive. It's hard to find people to go to movies with.
And you don't like going alone?
It's not that I
love going to movies alone.
I guess it's not that I don't like it. I think also maybe I don't have a problem with being alone. Sometimes I feel like I'm a creepy person to see alone. Like if I saw me with my face walk into a movie theater alone, I wouldn't be scared, but there might be a thought of like, what's he up to? You know?
I think that's
because people call me a school shooter all the time. So I'm like, maybe that's the vibe I give off. So part of me is like, if I'm walking around a crowded place alone, I'm like, look happier than usual.
I don't think you give off that vibe.
I don't totally think I do either, but that is what I get from people. People tell me that to my face quite a bit.
Your friends, though.
Sometimes.
You're telling me strangers?
Not straight, but sometimes it's like people I don't know that well will tell me that. And I'm like, okay, well that hurts. But
well, would you ever?
would I shoot up? No. People say I'm the type to kill myself before anyone else. I don't see the point.
So selfish.
Because I think I'm such a dick that I'm like, their lives in Walmart are not worth it. So, like, why would I waste them? It's not going to fix anything. These fucking douchebags watching The Dark Knight. Like, that's not going to help me feel better.
Okay.
So I would just kill
Please
myself.
don't degrade the Aurora Theater shootings. That's my hometown you're talking about.
I just wanted to connect with you on something.
You got a lot of nerve. You know, over the past couple weeks, Cooper's been getting into this thing where he's saying your mom jokes, and it's been getting out of hand. It's at least 7 or 8 a day. At least.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny because the jokes themselves are, like, mildly clever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a little better than most your mom jokes. But the fun part is that you are also going with the bit. I don't like the jokes themselves. I like the idea of someone telling your mom jokes as if they're really funny. I love someone being like, fucking got you, and like talking about your mom. Because it's like such a dumb thing to make fun of. But we've been getting into it pretty hard. What was some today? They're never funny. I remember saying like, oh, we need to pick up some Febreze. It's like deodorant for your mother.
Wow.
What? See, that's the response. You punched me in the market today when I said it.
That's my mother you're talking about. You piece of shit.
It's always weird.
So I have this plan now where your dad and I are going to get married one day.
Yeah, so that's been your rebuttal, which is that you're not only going to fuck my dad, but you're going to marry him. And part of the bit
and you're going to have to call me dad one day, Cooper.
So you did this for like 20 minutes in the drive-thru of KFC, just talking in a voice of like a sad mom, and just being like, "You're my special guy."
You are.
It was weird because
your father and I have been so proud of you lately.
It's weird because I feel like I'm at the age where like I'm not offended by someone saying they're gonna fuck my mom or my father, but it.
Do you think your dad would go out with me?
He's not gay.
Come on, Cooper.
We can go into the specifics of you, but he's not gay.
Think about it. He's divorced from your mom.
Yeah.
Probably got a lot of time.
And he's turning 60. Actually, he's 60 today.
In like how many minutes?
Today.
It's
the date.
Already 1 something in the morning.
Yeah. We're recording this at 2 a.m., which to us would be about...
If people go to bed at midnight...
Wake up at 8. It's like 4. It's like 4 or 5 to us.
Yeah.
It's like afternoon. It's 2 a.m.
We're just starting to get off work.
I keep tweeting things. Like, I tweeted the other day, I woke up at like 3 p.m. and I tweeted, I was like, I just woke up and it's okay. To me, it's very funny because it's like we're in quarantine. So it's like, how are you going to judge me for this? Right. But then a lot of people were like, this is unhealthy.
Dan?
People didn't totally go with the bit. Dan, my friend Dan, will FaceTime me every day, or most days, and he'll FaceTime me at about 3 to 5 p.m., and I usually answer in bed. And all the FaceTime calls just start with just him laughing. Just being like, you gotta get out of bed. But he's like such a productive, healthy person that like works out and eats right every single day.
Yeah, those people...
It's very funny to
I love Dan, but that's disgusting to me. Someone who has that much of a regiment and cares that much about their mental and physical health, they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, but it's like a good crazy. Because it works out.
I guess.
Because you know, like, when, like, you actually do the work, you're like, oh, that felt so much better than just sitting around.
Yeah.
That's, like, every single day for him.
Yeah, and isn't that great for Dan?
It'd be great for anyone. It'd be great for me.
You know, I respect Dan's hustle, and I respect his ability to do things on time and to be a goal setter. But what is he hiding? You have to think to yourself, those types of people... 100% of the time.
Yeah, but he's also
are hiding terrible things.
Yeah, but he's also very open about pain and insecurity and anger with his friends. That's why you almost want to hate him, because he covers all bases. That's what people like that do, is where you're like, what's wrong with you? And like sometimes those people have it wrong. But I think a lot of times the people who are really fucked up are not like the guys that work out and prioritize mental health. I think it's the guys that just like have a good job and a family. Like they don't really prioritize their mental health. They prioritize keeping up a facade. But I don't think what Dan and you know, like a Joe Rogan type, I don't think that's a facade. I think that's just like... How dare you
compare Dan to Joe Rogan?
They are comedians who love working out. They love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They love eating healthy. They love reading books. They love expanding their knowledge. They're similar in a lot of ways.
How dare you?
I mean, they're different in levels of success and certain political leanings.
I think you have a misinterpretation of who Joe Rogan is.
Is he not a guy that prioritizes physical and mental health?
Why do you bring up political leanings?
Well, I think Dan is like a little more... I don't even want to say... Dan is less contrarian than Joe Rogan.
What's contrarian mean?
Like very middle of the road.
Dan is less contrarian.
He's more liberal leaning. He leans more to the left, where Joe Rogan is sort of famous for staying in the middle.
I don't think that's what he's known for. I think I'm not going to get into an argument about Joe Rogan.
You're really defensive about him.
I am, because
I'm being very nice to him. He calls himself a contrarian all the time.
He calls himself a liberal as well.
Yeah, he leans liberal, but he's more yeah, but he always makes the point of like, I want to hear. That's why people get mad at him, because he'll be like, oh, I want to hear this guy's side.
Hearing someone else's side shouldn't be a political leaning.
No, but it is now.
Saying like that I want to hear and talk to somebody who has a different political view than myself shouldn't mean that you're like centrist or something.
Yeah, but it pretty much is now.
But it's not. That's just the perception that it is, but it's not.
Well, I'm trying to think of like the current situation and how. Yeah, but the perception.
I don't want to get started on this, because
the perception is the reality.
You knew there's a couple core subjects that you just don't bring up.
You're acting like I'm saying stuff that's crazy.
I think you are.
Okay, we can say contrarian, or we can say moderate, which is a political leaning that people consider themselves as.
I don't want to get into this.
You just like disagreeing with me.
No, I think you like... You know what it is?
What?
I think you like always being right, and you don't accept when you're wrong.
Well, I've found that you...
I think you're very stubborn in your ways.
I am, but you have also recently... you have assumed that I'm wrong before I've had the chance to be right.
What does that mean? Like, give me an example.
Like, every time I walk out of the bathroom, you go, wash your hands. Like, I know I need to wash my hands. But immediately you're like...
Because there's been times where you haven't after the bathroom. And we share food.
It's not enough for you to be saying it as much as you do.
I shouldn't have to.
You don't have to.
But I do.
That's where I'm at.
Because there's times when we're in a lockdown, in quarantine, and we're making a podcast, and we're building an empire.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to remind people that they should wash their hands after they... Because you don't use toilet paper. You just use your hands. Your little creepy hands to scoop out poop.
I wash my hands after every single time I poop. I will admit that there are times where I have peed here that I have not washed my hands. And it's because I have a well-documented bladder issue, and I pee a shit ton. So if I pee 5 times in an hour... and I'm not leaving the house...
Then wash your hands 5 times.
You would be so mad if I did.
No, I wouldn't.
How many times were we watching The Sopranos, and I have to pause it to pee, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, I'm just as mad as you. Think about adding an extra 30 seconds.
Cooper has an insane bladder issue. You really should see a doctor.
I went to a doctor.
But that doctor was wrong with their diagnosis. Or
Is it normal to pee a lot when you drink? I feel like that's kind of a thing.
Yeah, but it's also all the time. And when you have one drink, you shouldn't, even if you're peeing a lot, you're not drinking enough to be peeing 8 times an hour.
Yeah, but that's when I drink. When I drink, it gets into the 10 an hour. I've been feeling this whole quarantine that I might die soon.
I have too.
Because my heartbeat has been hovering around like 100 almost all the time.
Wow.
Which is high. It's not supposed to. All the time. And I just...
Do you think you have a substance abuse problem?
No, I don't have a substance abuse problem. I have an addictive personality that could turn into a substance abuse problem. But it's like... I just haven't... I just get addicted to things.
You know what the funny thing is? Is what I never got about like AA and like people who do interventions. I always say, are you a drug addict or are you an alcoholic? And most of the times they say no. And then they're like, oh, that means you're an alcoholic. But what if someone actually wasn't and they just said no? And they're like, oh, that's a sign you're an alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean, that could be true, but I guess the problem is most of the time that stuff is, like, begetted by continuous denial, you know? And that's what people say, the first step is
what if,
acceptance.
I'm saying, what if someone's asking someone constantly if they're an alcoholic, but they're actually not? So they keep on saying, no, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not an alcoholic.
Well, then you just have a friend who's, like, an asshole. Like, every time you drink, he's like, you're an alcoholic. But chances are if someone's doing an intervention, you're probably...
and you're also 20.
Yeah.
So 20-year-olds. And you have a fake ID.
Yeah. My worry, though, is that I mean, obviously, you never know. I don't think I'll ever get, like, horribly addicted to a drug. I don't think I'll ever get, like... Are you reading a Scrabble dictionary in the middle of this right now?
I'm listening.
But why'd you pick it up even?
I'm just using some words.
But just in the middle of this for me to be talking about...
I'm listening.
...about my genetics and my family history and the struggles that we've gone through, for you to pick up a Scrabble dictionary is sort of...
Have you ever thought that maybe...
hurts.
Maybe it's like a thing of like, if someone picks up a dictionary in the middle of a conversation, maybe you aren't being very entertaining?
Well, do you ever think that maybe this conversation is something that we're broadcasting to other people and your job would be to make it more entertaining?
I think...
Because this hurts.
That's 50% of my responsibility.
Okay, well, you asked me the question. But no, my worry... And I'll finish.
Yeah.
My...
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, you piece of shit. I feel like...
With your tawny hair.
Oh, my God. I almost feel like...
And your tax-wise personality.
I feel like almost like you're pissed off that I'm even on this podcast. I feel like your perception of this podcast, that it is a solo podcast that I keep getting in on.
Oh, I'm not pissed out. I'm tired of your glout.
Okay, stop reading shit out of the fucking dictionary.
That doesn't mean that I'm acting goatish, as you're implying.
My alcoholic grandfather shot himself with a shotgun. And you read the Scrabble dictionary in front of me. He was a tortured man.
Well, that's an embargo we just shouldn't go down.
No, I think no. But no, I'm not worried that I'll ever get horribly addicted to like a drug and overdose or die. I am worried, though, and that is our timer that this podcast should be finished. But
in the next 5 or 10.
Of course, we're not going to stop right now.
No need to throw numbles.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. No, I'm worried that I will do enough drugs to not ruin my life, but to be satisfied with essentially a failure of a life. Because there are some guys that they're not drug addicts, but they like smoke enough weed that they never want more, you know?
Right, then just...
Yeah. And I
can function and stuff, but...
Yeah, I don't think the way to success is to be unhappy, but I think it is to always be a little bit dissatisfied, to always want a little more. And I feel like I would be able to pump myself with enough drugs to wear that off, to heat it away, and then sort of not move anywhere.
Right. Because you had talked a little bit of drug use of people you know in your own kinsmen.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty. Yeah. Grandpa, who I never met. Dad, brother. We all got addictive issues. I also think my grandfather was bipolar. But
But back then, with those, they just died. Bipolar was just like,
he was an asshole. He's an asshole.
He's multi-weathered.
People literally just thought his family hates him. My mom's side of the family hates him. Like, he killed himself, and they were all like, good, he's a dick.
Did he act very woolly? Did your grandfather act very woolly to your family?
What made you say the word woolly?
I don't know. It's just a half-to-raw I have about it.
A half-to-raw?
Yeah, like a haircut.
A guy on a first date. He has how would you describe yourself? Woolly?
Woolly, for sure.
You're like sweating onto the book.
Oh, this date is macabre.
It's macabre, I think.
No, M-A-C-A-B-R-E.
Yeah, it's macabre.
There's an R in it. Why would you not? I'm the one with the dictionary.
Let's see it. Macabre pronunciation.
Let's look up macabre.
Oh, look, it's macabre.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No.
No, look. What is that? Look at that pronunciation. Macabre.
No.
I'm right.
You're not. Another thing
Macabre.
Cooper just
wait, let me just 1 sec.
Macabre. Macabre.
Let me do it slow.
Macabre.
Let me just for the listeners again.
Macabre.
Do you guys hear what that is?
Macabre.
That's Dylan being wrong.
Well, my
Macabre.
lack-a-day about this situation. You're such a laggard.
What does laggard mean?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
You didn't before you read it.
Oh, shut up. You are acting so overlush right now.
Do you know they tried to put your mom's name in the book? But
God damn it, Cooper! You son of a bitch!
They didn't have enough pages in the book.
I'm sick of it. We gotta end this.
God, what a huge thing for the listener to get to be a part of, though.
Dude,
right at the tail end.
I am gonna fuck your dad. And we're gonna fall in love, and one day you're gonna have to call me dad, father, or daddy.
You asked me to agree to call you daddy if you were able to fuck my father.
Your father and I are gonna not pay your school loans.
But I said, I don't have any loans. But I said no because I feel like if I agree to that you will start messaging my father.
You're so marsh. Okay.
Oh my God.
We gotta just end this episode.
We gotta end it because I'm picking up the book now and things are getting bad. But we're trying to make the episode shorter because for some reason the first two were close to 3 hours. Which is crazy.
The first one was like an hour and a half, which is like semi-acceptable. But then the second episode was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get it to a format of a certain amount.
Yeah.
I think that's so funny too because most of the episodes are us. At least most of the episodes. What they've been is sort of us struggling to continue the conversation, and yet somehow we went for 2.5 hours. It's like,
I wonder if anyone listened to the whole thing.
It's weird because it's like we wish people would do that, but there's also a part of us that's like, that's scary. That's weird. It's weird that you did that.
Oh my gosh.
You're weird, man.
Very macabre.
But anyway, you're probably going to see some celebrity attention for the podcast pretty soon.
And we got to emphasize, it's not like we're paying these celebrities.
No.
They're all coming to us on their own accord.
Yeah, no, these are pro bono cameo videos.
We know some people.
And yeah, hopefully we'll have some videos soon. We can start doing topless podcasts and wet t-shirt podcasts, stuff like that.
I'm so excited when this podcast gets to video.
What if we did a web
I think
t-shirt?
it's going to shoot us to superstardom.
Oh, for sure. We'll be huge. Because that's kind of the appeal.
Because, okay, so our viewership went from like, I think almost 200 on the first episode, minus 20 or 30 maybe.
It was closer to like 150, for being honest.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 150. And then the second episode, we're at like 50 views.
Yeah.
So statistically, if we divide by 3, that's what we'll get for this third episode. So we're going to be lucky if there's like 15 views on this. But we're really excited at the same time.
We're pretty excited.
And hopefully Lindsay Lohan gives us a couple of those bump in views, because she loved the episode 3 of Pork Butt, as you probably just heard.
We'll be on webinars on how to expand our brand soon.
Yeah, we got a webinar coming up on May 14th.
This is a very honest podcast. We want to be very clear how hard we're trying.
Yeah. I've been looking at a lot of YouTube videos and listening, and it's very hard to find information. Like, it's like those things with, like, famous YouTubers and famous podcasters. It's seldom a playbook. Like, there's certain things that you do, but so it's hard to find because you have to find all these little nuggets of information and kind of come to your own conclusions.
I think some people just fucking get it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm just
stop being so down on yourself.
I'm just being honest. I'm not good at it. I want to get better. I think I will in the future.
Just like Joe Rogan.
The Greeks emphasized honesty with yourself, and if you know one thing about me, is that I love the Greeks. But anyway, play boys, play girls, witches and bad bitches. We're going to be back next week.
We didn't even get witchy this episode, but
that's sort of always the underlying tone.
Yeah.
I like
next episode, episode 4, we're going to get way more into witches. I want to have like a whole witchy episode. Maybe it could be like an October thing. But that was episode 3 of Pork Butt, and thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye.